What up, what up? It's your girl Tiff B First. And I'm on some matcha today. It's a little cold, a little gloomy here in New York in this fine spring day. But I'm happy to come back. And I just, before we get into part 2 of this sort of 3-part Breaking In Shoes series, I just want to reiterate, I believe the best way to break in shoes is by wearing them. If you're not sure or clear as to why I am doing this, I'll just explain very quickly. 2022, I took a very traumatic, very life-altering lead fall. As a result of that fall, I now have pantalar arthritis and avascular necrosis. What does that mean? Basically, I have no dorsiflexion. My foot gets very stiff, very inflamed, very quickly. Therefore, I am high risk for falls, as in I shouldn't. I will need a full talus replacement and a total ankle replacement at some point in my life. The surgeons do not want to do it right now because of my age and because of the fact that ankle replacements do not have as long of a life as hip replacements and knee replacements. So I am a adaptive boulderer, which is probably not a thing or something that I've made up, but I am adapting. And the way in which I am doing that is trying to increase my performance, because I don't want to just sit here with y'all and climb V0s and V1s all day. I really enjoy the try-hard nature of it, and I just want to get a little bit better. So I wanted to go back to my performance climbing shoes. Therefore, that brings us to breaking in shoes. Now, this week, I am using the freezer method to break in my left shoe, which is the injured ankle. So this was kind of the most important for me, and I think I chose the freezer method for this because it appeared as if, based on research or comments, that it works. And I really needed this to work. Now, I will say, last week, I do believe the heat method definitely worked. Thank you for y'all who slid in the comments and reassured me that heat would be okay and that it would take a lot to melt the shoe, but it's been fine so far. And I, again, don't regret doing the heat method. Now, the process for doing this is very simple. You just take the shoe, you stick a Ziploc bag inside of it. I didn't have a true Ziploc bag. I just had a baggie that was large. And so you stick it in, you fill it up with water. Now, I placed that shoe inside of another baggie in the event that that other baggie exploded because I didn't have a true Ziploc bag. And then I placed it in the freezer. Now, when I removed it from the freezer, the plastic had frozen into the bottom of the shoe, and so I really could not pull it out. And by the time I was able to sort of finagle the now foot form of ice out of the bag, the shoe was pretty much soaked. So luckily we had a week for it to dry, and this week's climbs are all about trying out and seeing if it worked. Now, what I will say, unlike the heat method, I pretty much immediately noticed a difference in the shape of the shoe once it dried. It was visibly wider than it was before I tried the freezer method. So, and it was wider in the spot where I really needed it to be wide. So I was really excited because I really do like this particular shoe. This was a shoe I was using a lot before the fall. So yeah, I was excited to go. Now, this week's problems, I will say, and if you are not familiar with Method Climbing, it's a bouldering gym in Newark, New Jersey. It is very much a comp style gym, which is a gift and a curse. I love competition style climbing. It's amazing. But it makes it challenging for me to find climbs that are safe because they tend to be very compy, which sometimes is just technical. Sometimes it's a little bit riskier, but I love it. So initially, I figured that the climb that I was projecting last week and was super stoked about, that blue climb in the corner, I thought it was going to be down because they did mention on their Instagram that the west wall had been reset. So I was like, oh, damn, guess I can't do that climb. And I was truly upset because I felt like I could have sent it. I really did. But then when I walked into the gym, the entire west wall was reset right up until that blue climb. It was like they left it there for me, which I know they did not. I love Method. I love the owners. I know they did not do that for me. But I was really excited because I was like, oh, I get to try it again. And I'm not leaving this gym until I send this climb. So let's take a look. Now, again, it had been about a week. I felt like I had the beta fairly dialed in and that I remembered. But I really kind of jumbled the start and came way lower than I should have been on it. So I really just didn't get a good handle on this, and I couldn't remember which way I wanted to go, if I wanted to cross over or gas on or what, and so I fell. And I wasn't exactly sure if this was something I should continue trying, but I still felt strong. And also, I came into the gym fresh. I did not do arc training this session. I did do a core routine. I did warm up, but I didn't do anything that was too strenuous. So hopped back on and just tried to climb a little bit smarter and really just go with the method that I felt like worked for me and my style. That was the first time I actually got the hold, and at that point I was like, I'm not leaving this climb until I send it. But I was also terrified. And I missed the jib on the last hold, but I finally got it, and I was just like, oh my God, I cannot believe it. And of course, my down climb was not there anymore for me to get down, so it was a little bit riskier trying to get off of this, and I did kind of have to just jump. But I was elated. You have no idea, like, to truly project a climb, and we all know that projecting most times takes multiple sessions, and so it was nice that I could get this in 2 sessions. I probably could have got it the first session depending on the order in which I, done the do and the work that I did. So I felt good. I didn't take up too much shoulder strength, but my second climb was actually along the same wall. It was that west wall reset, and I don't know why I'm gravitating towards this wall. I think maybe because the height is a bit lower than on the other side of the gym. But I saw another climb that also looked very technical, but I also felt like it was the perfect climb to really test out the left shoe. Now this climb uses these super holds, which I'm not super familiar with, pun not intended, but it's dual text, which is like, I don't know, a gift and a curse. And I think I was so wrapped up in the fact that it was dual text that I could not really figure out the start of this, which is like, of course, I can't start the climb. Just like last week, I don't know how to start it. And it almost felt in my mind that it was going to be impossible to do, because after the first 2 holds, that third hold just looked way too far, and I know I don't have any like spring in my left foot to spring up. But then I realized I could use my left hand pull myself up into it. And honestly, I had no clue. I didn't read the beta to do what to do after that. And I just started getting a little scared, and I was like, I'm not really sure if this is a climb I should be doing. And so I came down. Now, this was definitely a mental climb for me because it was not physically taxing. It didn't look complicated. Those holds aren't great, but I didn't think they were terrible for my ability. And so I kind of got to the point where it was like, either I'm going to just push through the fear and trust myself, or just walk away. So I did a very thorough brushing this time because I'm trying to get better and in the habit of brushing, so I can't use the excuse of the holes needed to be brushed, and that's why I fell. And I tried to read the route a little bit. I really tried to figure out from the ground, what do I need to do with this climb? I was really nervous about this climb, and I felt like I could maybe go further, but I really needed to know that those top holds were safe. So I used the V0 next to it to climb up and fill out the holds. Now, this is legal. I don't care what anyone tells you. Do what you want to do in the gym. If you want to see what the holds feel like, because you can't tell by brushing it or from the ground, if you can climb up it and feel if it's a good grip, do that, please. Now, the last hold was pretty much a jug, but I wasn't sure about the other two that I was trying to work my way towards. And so I felt them out. They felt fine. And I hopped back on. So I got back to the same spot, and I felt like the heel was necessary, and so this is me testing out my newly broken in shoes. But that foot slip freaked me out, and I had to like take a mental reset. It wasn't so much, it was more so like, okay, how am I going to make it to that hold? Because I don't think I can pull myself up. I still am dealing with a right shoulder arm situation. And from the ground, I was like, maybe if I just lay back the entire time, I can just sort of reach up into it. Because I really didn't think I could actually stand up on my left ankle. But I don't know. I just didn't want to not keep trying this one. Now from here, I was just trying to get as close as I could to that other hold. And once I got to it, I was like, okay. I thought I was dabbing other holds the whole time, and I was like, I don't care. I'm taking it. And so once I got to the second to last hold, I was like, okay, I can just lean into this knee, get to the finish, and I felt so good. You have no idea. It was like, to do two very technical climbs and actually truly project them was like the most amazing feeling. Now, getting off of this was exactly how I thought it would be, which was trash. I thought I could get back to that zero pretty easily, but it wasn't as easy as I thought. So, I made it over. It's fine. But that is the challenge for me climbing, is having to down climb. But I felt good. The shoes felt good. The shoes the left shoe actually feels better than the right shoe, and way more stretched out, but it doesn't squeak or anything like that other shoe does. So I will say, I do think that both the heat method and the freezer method works. To some degree, it's probably abnormally stretching the shoe, but keep in mind on my left foot, I wear a compression sleeve under the shoe, so I need that extra space. I would definitely only do something like this if you have shoes that are too small that you just can't return, and maybe that helps. But I was specifically trying to stretch out the ankle area. That's not going to do anything if the shoe is too small. So we'll get into the last and final method, which is the water method, and see if that works. Now, those are for my outdoor climbing shoes, and I do plan on trying to get outside next week. So hopefully I can take you outside and try those out. But those I don't think is going to work personally, because I'm trying to stretch it out horizontally and not just in that ankle box area. So I don't know, we'll see. But I did do a third climb, and those two climbs, because they were, of course, V2 to V4s, which is the lane I decided to stay in this week. I said I'll save green for another day. I feel like if I'm still projecting orange, I should only really do green if I really think I can send it, and save the tryhards for my crew. But I moved on to another climb, and this climb, honestly, I really just wanted to do something on this wall. Now, I don't know if your gym has this, but I really like when gyms have sort of this orb feature where it's overhanging, but it sort of switches angles in the middle of the climb. Now, mind you, it's very hard for me to find a climb on that wall that I can project that doesn't freak me out. But just looking at this wall, it just is, aesthetically, everything looks so pretty. The colors look very watermelon-y. And I just really wanted to do something on this wall. Now, I didn't go into this climb thinking that it was going to be something that I was projecting. It was another V2 to V4, but it definitely felt like a V2 and less like a V4, unlike the other two climbs. But I really, really do want to try the pink climb that's in this. But I just don't know if I can take that fall. Now, sorry for the shakiness in the camera. There were people sitting on the bench where my camera was seated, so, such is life. And I was trying to get this toe hook so I wouldn't swing out, and then I just said, screw it, I'm just gonna hang from it. And getting down from this also kind of sucked because I was in a really bad position to be hanging and getting to the down climb jugs, but we made it work. And I felt good. I walked away from this session feeling like, I am getting stronger mentally stronger, physically stronger, yes, but mentally stronger. And 3, I remember how to project. Like, I remember breaking down the parts of a climb and getting over it and thinking, and honestly, the biggest problem with me is that I blame everything on my ankle. I'm like, oh, can't do that. My ankle, oh, can't. That's BS, and that's a lie. There are other ways to use other parts of your body to compensate for weaker areas. And so that's something I'm starting to learn, and I'm really excited to continue projecting. So, if you enjoy watching me on this journey, hit that subscribe button. I got a lot of things coming. It's gardening season. I know y'all probably don't care about that. But one of the things I am planning on doing in my garden this year is making my own medicinal herbal concoctions and try a more holistic way of dealing with my arthritis and inflammation. And so, I may share some of that with you. I may not. It may end up in, a shorts. But if it is something you think you'd want to see, just let me know. And stay tuned, because next week we have another episode of the Black Lady Climb session. I'm really excited to get back into the gym with the ladies. So yeah, stay tuned. In the meantime, between time, see you next climb. Peace.